Hello everyone. So we know about this scheme that's supposed to be happening. It's been talked about for the last nearly 10 years at this stage. And it's to do particularly with Beltoba Ballyconnor and Cavan Town, of course. And this is to do with CCTV. Now we've heard about it in the Monaghan, etc. But for the last 10 years they've been going on about doing it. We'll get into all this now. But long story short, a lot of people in Cavan, and of course with GDPR, etc., it's difficult. But a lot of people in Cavan are not really fond of having cameras on every corner of every street, even though they say it's about safety. But at the same time too, uh, it's a lot of government overreach too, and it would not probably prevent crimes because let's be fair, if a crime did happen, the judge would let them off. But anyway, let's put it that way. It depends on who you are, of course. But long story short, the councillors at the Beltoba Cavan meeting just last week, they were all very upset that it's taken so long. Of course, it was promised that it would be done, and of course, this always something blocking it. Basically, it's to do with GDPR too. But I suppose it is up to the people at the end of the day, and I do think we should ask the people because a lot of people are not really that fond of it. I know the councils are saying, "Oh, more help safety," and of course, community groups. They're talking about community groups, things like for the community that have been vandalised. And I understand that. I get that. I agree with that 100%. There has been community centres and there has been community facilities like playgrounds and stuff damaged and stuff, and deliberately damaged by people, individuals. And unless you had CCTV and stuff, you couldn't prove who done it basically because this is during the night, etc. You wouldn't have the evidence to say you done it or this person done it because it's during the night and stuff. And only if there's a camera there, you could catch them doing it and you can prosecute them and get the money back off them, etc. But that's all well and good. It depends on who they are again. But this is the thing. At the same time too, people do have a right to privacy. Now I know people say if you're in a public area and stuff, you have no right to privacy, and that's fair enough because you're in the public space. But we've seen it in China and stuff like that with social with the credit scores and face recognition software, etc. We see we don't really want that here. That's what I'm trying to say. And a lot of people are worried about that because it's a slippery slope. It really, really is. Because I don't know. And again, it's up to the people of Cavan at the end of the day because there's a huge amount of money that would be put into it if it did happen. And I do think the councillors should go to the people and ask what the people would say in Cavan about it. Because a lot of people, first of all, when we look at the court paper, if we get the Anglo-South now, we see the amount of people getting off of fully suspended sentences and the whole shebang. People are committing fucking awful crimes here in Cavan, and they're getting off with murder, and let's put it that way. And no camera, no evidence is going to change that because the judges will still let them off anyway. But if you don't pay your TV license, we get you. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So you have to kind of find a balance too, I suppose. That's the way I'm trying to phrase it here. And of course, GDPR shouldn't. But if there is facilities that are, I would say, temporary cameras, not permanent cameras, but if there is areas that need to be looked at, they should be put up. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to stop people because a lot of these people couldn't give a shit about the law. The law is just an obstacle, basically, for them. They can get around it, especially if they're non-Irish, except they can get around it very easily. It's very handy to get around it nowadays. Especially if you're not Irish, because obviously nowadays they can get off with it, they can claim racism and get off with it straight away. But even just for Irish people too, if you commit a terrible crime, costs the state thousands of euro, costs the taxpayer thousands of euro, you get off with it. But if you don't pay your TV license, you're in serious trouble. But if you stole a box of biscuits too, you'd be shot basically. But nowadays, that's just the way it is, unfortunately. But anyway, let me know what you think. Subscribe for more. What do you take if you're from Cavan? Do you agree with it? Do you not? Let me know. Thank you.